I've been at Eagle Lever now for 12 years. I've been working in the adult industry since I was 19 years of age. I'm 37 right now, and I've always had a fascination with sex and sexuality. And what's led me onto this is from working in normal adult stores is I one day saw an ad at Eagle Lever and I said, this is something I have to do, because I saw it as really kind of a next level thing. We sell kind of more advanced toys, I guess, and this is what leads me on to electric sex. Does anyone know what electric sex is at all? When I say electric sex? Some people think it's just battery-operated things, or they might think it's a vibrator that you plug into a wall. What I'm talking with electric sex, that's one form. So the gentleman in the front here was referring to a violet wand, which gives you a bit of a zappy sensation. And a lot of people think that electric sex is all about the zap, but it doesn't have to always be about the zappy sensation. What I will be talking about a lot today is actually running an electric current through your body. So you can actually make your genitals like a circuit board. How fascinating is that, huh? So it's not always about zapping. It actually can give a sensation that's like a deep, deep vibration that goes right into your flesh. A vibrator like a Hitachi wand or your standard vibrators, a lot of the times they'll be on the surface of the skin. This will get to places which you can't normally get to. And that's what's fascinating. When I started at Eagle Lever 12 years ago, I was actually given a whole heap of electric sex products. And I was told that I would be the resident expert of electric sex. I was given about $1,500 worth of equipment and said, basically, go home this weekend, experiment with it. Not many workplaces you'd be able to do that, huh? Luckily, I was a pretty cool staff member and I didn't put him up from a harassment charge or anything like that, because I think a lot of those were cock rings and a lot of my duty was to masturbate the whole weekend. And the first time I tried electric sex, I was kind of like, wasn't able to gauge it. I didn't know how I felt about it. And so I thought, I'll give it another shot. The second time, it absolutely blew my mind away. And there's something that I realised about that it was because I had to be in a complete relaxed headspace for it. So if you try electric sex and it doesn't appeal to you, or if you're jumping all over the place with it, don't be put off. Give it another shot. And even if the second time doesn't work, give it another shot. I'm going to be honest to you about a lot of these things today. Yes, I run a retail store, but I'm going to try and be unbiased to what I can recommend to you and what I'll be suggesting. I'm not going to make it too salesy, don't worry, or anything like that, because I hate going to anything where somebody's trying to sell you constantly. If you've got any questions during this, just put your hand up, yeah? And I'll come over and speak to you. Now, don't stress. You don't have to read this. I'm going to explain this. This is because I'm a daydreamer, and sometimes I'll actually just waffle off and go off on a tangent. So I'm just going to keep in track of this. The first one what we're going to be talking about is safety. I'm sorry this might seem a bit boring, but it's something that I have to cover. Homemade devices. Has anyone here tried to make their own electric device for sex at all? No? Some people make them out of stereo systems. They might adjust a taser or something like that. A really common one is that some people will use a collar that's used for dog training, which gives you a zap, and they'll turn it into a cock ring or something like that. So I can tell you now, don't do that. Unless you've got it like in a very advanced, degree in bioelectrotechnology, if that's actually a real course or whatever, I don't know. I did electronics in high school, by the way, and I found it completely boring. So I'm not an expert on electric principles, but I do know a lot about these products. So don't make your homemade devices. I had a friend, let's just call him John for this sake, yeah? My friend John, if I could use a poster on why not to make your own homemade devices, I would use a picture of my friend John. My friend John made his own homemade device. There were 2 wires. He attached them to his nipples, and he basically blew his nipples off. I'm not kidding. Well, it looked like that anyway. It looked like the moon. His nipples were actually like craters. Like, it was just this bizarre looking thing. I still to this day don't know Actually, I'm quite fascinated to see if his nipples have grown back. I'm not sure what happens in those cases. I guess they'll never be the same again. But he made his own homemade device, and it completely went wrong. So don't make your own homemade devices. It's also important to make sure that the environment that you're working in is safe to use electric sex. Some certain environments, they can have water on the ground, it might be wet, you might have someone who squirts, and that can actually pass a current that might go to a part of your body that's unintended and cause a lot of damage. It's also important, some concrete might have metal in it, or you might be playing next to a pipe, and that electrical current could run to another part that's not supposed to. It's also important to not play with electric sex above the waist. There are some people who still like to play above the waist. I mean, this is up to you, but generally it's a rule that you shouldn't do it. And a lot of power box suppliers will say do not do anything above the waist. This is because, does everyone know what a heart defibrillator, if I pronounce it correctly, is? Yeah. It resuscitates the heart. And what they use is an electric pulse to resuscitate this heartbeat. And now imagine you have something like this, which is a PEZ power box, and that has the pulses in it that send electric pulses that are meant to drive you closer to an orgasm. Now, if you have something that's specifically designed to make you come and you send that electric pulse rhythm through your heart, what's going to happen? Your heart's not going to come, no. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? A heart orgasm, but I don't think it works that way. Yet you're probably going to interfere with the rhythm, which could result in death, and that's super important. So generally, what we don't want to do is we don't want to cross any current across the chest, and we don't want to cross, and most importantly, we don't want to cross a current right through the heart from the front to the back. So that's super important. That's how most people die with electric sex. It's pretty easy to do, especially if someone's got a pacemaker, that can interfere with the current, so that's super important. We also check our equipment. I can remember one session when we were playing, and I didn't have one of the leads in all the way. So I was turning up the volume as harder and harder. I'm thinking, what the hell is going on? And then all of a sudden I knocked it back in, and I got basically an acrylic electric butt plug popped right out and hit me straight on the head. Made a weird hollow sound, which kind of killed the scene a little bit, I think. But so you make sure your leads are in, you make sure that your wires aren't stripped back or anything like that. These things are really, really important. We talked before about the headspace. Make sure that the person you're playing with is in the right headspace. Don't rush them. If you wire them up and then just start turning the volume up, might be good for a punishment scene, or if that's what you're into, but it's not going to get them in the right headspace, and it might actually put them off electric sex in the future as well. It's important also to keep your equipment clean. Unfortunately, with some of this, if you put a condom over that and shared it with a friend, what's going to happen is that you're going to lose any conductivity, because latex or rubber generally doesn't allow any electricity to flow, so that's going to stop it, which is a real shame, because some of this stuff is so expensive that you want to share it with your friends, you know what I mean? It's kind of one of those things that there's not too many, very good intro packs to be able to get into it. So that's super important to make sure that you keep your equipment clean. There's occasionally some devices that you can use if they're stainless steel. You might want to autoclave them, which means sterilization. And you can take it to some things that are metal to piercing studios, and they might autoclave it for you. It's also important to go slow, take it easy. Some of these with some of these source boxes, you might be turning it up, and it might take about 3 to 4 seconds for the pulse to kick in. So make sure you go slow. Also test these things on yourself. If I didn't know anything about the sensations of electric sex, and I was to use this on somebody else, I might have a completely inaccurate interpretation of what it's all about. So it's important to see how it goes on yourself. All right, Pepper, you want to hop up with me? All right, now let's talk about the basic principles of electricity and how it flows and what we need to achieve. So let's say that we have 2 poles. We have 2 wires, and in this case, let's pretend it's a torch. Hold your hand up a little bit higher for us there. Yep. Now, if we had a torch, we might put a battery down here, and what we need to do is we need to have a complete circuit. So we need to pass the electrical current from this point to this point. And if we put a globe in the center of this, the globe would light up because we've stimulated the filament in there, yeah? Is everyone on the same page a little bit? If we took the globe away, then we're not going to have a complete circuit. Then nothing happens at all. So then we have a completely dead circuit, nothing's going on. Put the globe back again, the light's on. So we're passing this current around. So this is what would happen with a source box. We would have two leads coming out. That's it. Now hold that up for everyone to see, those two leads. Out of the source box, we've got a lead that's split into two there. Now what we want to do is we want to cut past this electric pulse from this point to this point, and if whatever we put in between that is going to get stimulated. So if, for example, we might put some genitals in the middle of that, and then we're going to run an electric pulse for it. Now the most popular combination for this, and I can tell you this is absolutely breathtaking, And guys, when I mention this, I quite often get a lot of knees banged together, but it's not as bad as it seems. No, leave it up. So this is an electric sound. Does anyone know what electric sound is or a sound is? This is like a slimy kind of snake thing that goes down the eye of your penis. So you thread this. Yeah, I'm getting the reactions. Yeah. So this will go down through the eye of your penis, and you'll sit that there. Now this is just one. This is what they call a unipolar toy. It means that it's one point of contact. This is only this one port with this one point here. If I was to put that down the eye of my penis and turned on my source box, it's not going to do anything at this stage because we've only got one. But then to complete the circuit, what I might do is put this butt plug in. And this is what they call a unipolar butt plug. It's only got one point of contact in there. Well, that front part is, I can make this toy work by itself, but for these circumstances, I'll make this unipolar. Now what I could do is I could pop this into my butt, like that. This down the eye of my penis, and that's... And then I've completed a circuit. Now what's fascinating about this is not only does this electric pulse run down the eye of my penis, but this will go through my prostate glands and then into my rectum. And by going through the prostate gland, I can actually come without touching myself at all. So by turning up the dials and turning up the tempo and the rhythm of the electric pulses, I can actually have a form of orgasm which is only achievable through prostate massage. This is the most popular combination that we sell out of all of them. It's not for everyone, but if you want to get a really strong effect from something, this is what we normally go for. Put them down for you. Yes. So we've seen two unipolar toys. Now this is what they call a bipolar toy. So this is a butt plug that has 2 points of contact in the one toy. Now I don't know if you can see it, but there's one strip on the left side, and then there's another strip on the other side. And in between we've got this clear glass kind of looking effect. It's actually an acrylic, it's pretty safe. But on both sides are conductive strips. So I could actually just pop this in my butt, and it's actually going to work by itself. And what the beautiful thing about this shape is, can everyone see there's a taper in there at all? Let me see if I can bring this up here. Yeah. If you can see that, that's even worse, isn't it, guys? Yeah, sorry. Okay, so do you want to bring this down the aisles? Just show people down the aisles, please. So with that taper in the center there, what that's going to do is with these electric pulses, it makes your tissue squirm. Has anyone ever used TENS pads before at a physiotherapist, which they normally use for pain relief? They might put 2 white pads on your skin and it makes your flesh squirm. That's what it's going to do to your sphincter. And with that shape there, that taper in the center, it's going to squirm on there, and it's going to slide up and down on that taper, and it's going to fuck you. It's going to fuck you while you turn up the knobs. I'm starting to sound like a 1-800, like a 005 number, isn't it? It's going to fuck you. So that shape really works in favour. Now, what they'll actually have on the market is they'll actually have specific probes or actual electrodes which are specifically designed for the vagina. But I'll give you the inside word on this. If you're a female, go for the butt plug and put it in your vagina. It's actually a better shape than most of the vaginal plugs. There we go. Testament. Really good combination is also if you put this into the vagina and you use a Hitachi wand or a vibrator on the clitoris, it's a mind-blowing... Well, I'm gathering it's a mind-blowing... Yeah. I think that was another one where I missed it that time, yeah. But yeah, so that's a good combination, wand and this. But if you're looking at if you're just going to get one toy with electric sex, go for something like this. It's really, really good. Now we've got something also this is also bipolar as well. This has got a urethral probe and a corona head stimulator as well. So we've got the 2 points of contact in the one toy. Now I want to show you something that probably this doesn't work too well. If something's got a really big surface area, again this is Unipolar, sorry guys. It's got a big surface area. I'd normally try avoid things like this because it's not going to work as well. Like things that have a finer surface area normally work a bit better. I'm going to just do a quick demonstration. I can't do live demonstrations, by the way, I've just found out. So sorry about that. I can't actually penetrate in here. All right. Yep. So what Pepper's doing now is she's lubing me up. This is actually used for electric convulsive therapy, this lubrication. So this is normally applied to people's heads. But in this circumstances, it works really well as a conductive lube. You can use any water-based lube and it will work fine. Yeah, some lubes are more conductive than others. Silicone lube's not normally conductive because silicon's not normally a conductive property. So maybe you want to, I don't know if you can, I'm going to try walk down the aisles here. Can you, if you look closely, can you see it's twitching my muscles, yeah? And could you just show people the lights as well while I'm doing this? Those lights indicate exactly what is being felt in my arm. Here we go. Yeah? See the twitch see how it's twitching? You can tell each vibration. You can tell I've been working out as well, huh? Just turn it up a little bit more. This is... Here we go. Yep. Hang on. No. There we go. Now it's going crazy. There we are. Can you see that? Can you see it? So it looks like I'm flexing my muscles, but that's actually the pulse. Can you imagine that in your butt or your vagina? I mean, can you really? So this is an internal unit. Now what I'm going to show you, can you please turn that off for me? Please. Thanks, baby. Cool, so that's what we call an internal unit. So that's used for internally. That felt like a really deep vibration into my flesh. Does anyone have any questions about electric sex? I'm sorry that I've cut this a little bit shorter than usual. There's so much. This is normally a 2-hour class that I do, but we've had to cut it in because of Sexpo. It has to be a 30-minute class. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. You've been really good to present to. eaglelever.com.au if you want to buy any electric sex products later on down the track. You can also email me through the website as well if you've got any questions. I'm always happy to answer them. So thank you very much. Bye-bye.